so much for joining me today. Whether this is your first time at the channel or you've been here lots of times, welcome. My name is Julia. I'm with Julia Sue's Stamping. I'm your go-to guru for things paper crafting and stamping. And like I said before, I am so glad that you're here. Today I have a delightful treat in store for you where we are using elements from the Country Birdhouse stamp set and suite actually, because we're using the stamp set as well as the dies. I'm a Stampin' Up! Demonstrator who lives in Northeast Ohio, so all the things I'm showing are Stampin' Up! And all the details for everything that I use are listed down below in the description, so please be sure to check it out. Let's get started. I want you to picture this, a serene scene, beautiful soft colors, blooming florals. That's what we're channeling today. And did I mention that we're going to be unleashing the power of the Eyelet 3D embossing folder? All right, so get ready to add some extra texture that's as eye-catching as it is touchable. It feels so beautiful when you do dry embossing. So using the cut and emboss machine, a 3D folder makes the images even better because it is a deeper embossing method. It has very distinctive and very deep embossing. So this card is clean and simple. It's very easy. We're going to be using the stamp set of Country Birdhouse. Particularly, I'm using this stamp sentiment as well as these floral images right here. It has dies that coordinate. I put a D on my stamp set so that I always remember that there is matching dies and I can remember to pull them out and use them with the Country Birdhouse set. And the dies are also called the Country Birdhouse, so it's easy to remember what things match. I'm also, as I said, using some of the dies as well as a sentiment die, or I think of it as a sentiment die because it's so much smaller and sentiments fit perfectly in there from the everyday dies. So this is the one that we're going to be using for the floral image to cut that out. So here we are with the thick basic white cardstock, and I like to use the thick when it's the base because that makes it easier. It has been cut to be 8.5 inches by 5.5 inches. And then I scored it at 4 1/4. I take the bump that has from the score line and put it to the inside of the card. Then I use the bone folder and I get it nice and tight. And then we've got a piece of basic white that is going to be our focal image. This piece of basic white has been cut at 3 inches by 4 inches. Then there is a piece of Fresh Freesia that has been cut to be just an 1/8 inch bigger, so it's 3 1/8 inch by 4 1/8 inch, and it will frame this base piece of basic white perfectly. But we're not done with the basic white. First thing we're going to do is we're going to run it through the embossing folder I discussed earlier and come up with a piece like this. So you can see how the embossed image is so much, I know it's still clean and it's still simple, but it's going to add quite a nice punch. Very nice to feel. So we're going to take the blending brush and the Fresh Freesia ink and do something special with that embossed image. I'm going to grab some grid paper. Put that down. Now, when you have an embossed image, you have the part where it's raised and the other side where it's not raised. The raised part is called embossed. The other side is debossed. And that is what I want to work with today, is the debossed side. Bringing in the ink and the brush, I put my finger on the middle of the brush and just tap or rub it in a little bit. And I'm going to rub some of the ink off and then put it onto the debossed side of the basic white paper. And this creates a very nice texture and color, and it's not going to be the same everywhere. We want it to look a little different. Some parts will be a little darker than others. Some will be as well, of course, lighter. And that is the beauty of using the brush. It adds just this gorgeous color. So the great thing about these brushes is that they're very easy to clean as well. All you need to do is run it under some water. If you really need to, you can add just a little bit of soap, but it cleans right off. And even if you see a little bit of the ink on there, you don't need to worry after it's dry because the ink is not going to transfer. There we go. So you saw me lift it up. That's okay. It'll work just fine no matter what. And I've got my finger on there for pressure. Just circling it around and around. Adding just the right amount of color. All right, I'm really happy with how that looks. So I'm going to set this aside for the moment. Now I'm going to adhere it to this Fresh Freesia piece. So I'm going to put a little more adhesive on since it has been embossed. I want it to really stay put. I'm going to put it on all the sides so that it stays well onto the Fresh Freesia piece. There, center it beautifully. All right, and then that is going to get adhered to the card base. Placing it down, basically centering. All right, I have the Blackberry Bliss card ink here, and one of the stamps with the flower from the stamp set. I ink it up, and then I'm going to grab a paper pierce mat, put it underneath so that I have a little bit of cushion, because this is a photopolymer stamp set and it doesn't have any of the rubber. So in order to get a really clear image, the best thing to do is to put something under it to help it have some give. The die I talked about earlier and a piece of scrap paper, cut out a white sentiment piece that we're going to use, and I'm going to stamp the sentiment, the hello friend, in the Fresh Freesia ink and put it way over here on the side so that I have plenty of room for the flowers I intend to put on. And then with the piece of scrap paper, I'm going to take the other floral element and I'm going to stamp that on, also in the Blackberry Bliss. And then using the die cut, I cut that out. I'm going to go ahead and color it using some alcohol markers now. Got the Pretty Peacock, Pool Party, Daffodil Delight, and Lemon Lime Twist. I'm going to start off with the lighter color of the Pretty Peacock, coloring in the leaves of the flowers. keep my different pairs of blending Stampin' blends together, I like to use little hair ties that I get at the grocery store. That way I always know where the lighter and darker colors are. So I have this all cut. I have this all colored and ready to go, and I'm going to simply adhere it to my piece here, my sentiment piece. So the main part of the sentiment can go ahead and have adhesive behind it, but the two ends of it are going to have mini dimensionals. I'm going to put a mini dimensional here on this end that I'm going to have overlap and hang right down here. Not with a little piece of mini dimensional, but there we go. There's the backing coming off. There. Okay, so I'm going to put this onto the card like this, and then a little mini dimensional on that other piece that's coming off of there. Let's see if I feel like that's straight, because now is a good time to straighten it out if I don't. And I really am happy with that. Okay, so the next thing I'm going to do is a little bit of embellishment with the adhesive backed sequin trio. I'm going to go ahead and adhere some of these onto the card. All right, I'm really happy with how that's turned out. The last thing I want to do is embellish my envelope. So I took my plain white envelope and I ran it through the cut and emboss machine, once again using the embossing folder. Made it so I have the debossed side. See how that's the embossed side, so you can see how it sticks up more. And I have the debossed side for the out part. Bring in the grid paper again, the Fresh Freesia ink, and the blending brush. I'm going to color the outside flap of the envelope. And I'll speed this up. So that now we have a clean and simple envelope that goes along with our gorgeously clean and simple card. I'm so excited about this. It's such a nice combination. Who doesn't love a cheerful greeting? And those flowers. They're getting the full treatment from the Stampin' blends and the pretty peacock and pool party. Talk about a makeover worthy of a papercraft runway. These are lots of layers that just look gorgeous together. There you have it, folks. A clean and simple card. It has the embossed elegance as well as some vibrant colors from the stamped images that were die cut out. This card is going to make any recipient's day brighter. Thanks so much again for joining me on this crafting adventure. I hope you enjoy your day with a flourish of creativity and a sprinkle of joy. Keep on crafting, my friends. Bye-bye.